At the start of the season of The Lost, there was one particular buffed exotic I kept an eye on, and I really wanted to test it out for its viability in endgame content, looking at Grandmaster Nightfalls and the Master Vault of Glass raid in particular. But it also came to prominence in my loadout this weekend in the freshly revamped and now popping off Trials of Osiris. Precious Scars is yet another example of a meme that's got potential to be meta. It's more likely still to be a meme though. However, before we judge it, let's take a quick look at what it does now, why it actually works, the best loadouts to pair with it in my opinion, and what it currently hard counters, especially in the Trials of Osiris environment. It's the slightly odd but aesthetically pleasing Titan exotic helmet which was introduced in Beyond Light. It's basically a cracked teapot on a Titan's head, which is peak Titan if you ask me. Kintsugi is the exotic perk, whereby final blows from a weapon type matching your subclass element create a healing burst around you. After reviving or being revived, you gain an aura that provides overshields to you and nearby allies. The first part of the perk is the newly added part in Season of the Lost, and it simply provides a bump to your health and nearby allies on final blows. This in real terms actually means the red bar of yours or your ally's health bar, so if you've still got the white shielded portion you won't get a health bump otherwise. But it also acts as a healing boost, which much like the Superstructure Medic mod from the Vault of Glass raid, where it gives you a boost to your recovery stat, allowing you to kickstart full health regen after a matching elemental kill. This shows us the healing perk in the tooltip and stacks up to 2 times for a maximum impact, with one final blow against tougher combatants or in PvP granting you the maximum stack instantly. If you keep slaying out, it will constantly stay active too, which as you can imagine in certain scenarios in Nightfalls and even in PvP, it's going to be hugely beneficial. The main part of the perk though has always been there, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. Shielded Allies is the perk that will activate when you revive someone or get revived. This overshield lasts for 10 seconds within a 15 meter radius of the person wearing the Precious Scars helmet. It allows you to instantly survive incoming damage on being revived, and a good Titan will always try to combine it with a well placed towering barricade for maximum impact. You can then either reset or immediately re-engage depending on the activity or scenario you are in. In Trials this past weekend, it's been my go-to exotic for my unloved Titan, who I really don't play with that often, so for me having the ability to provide bursts of healing and overshields to my solo queue allies has been more than worth it. Remember, if you haven't got hold of this exotic yet, you can grab yours from the Legend or Master Lost sectors when exotic helmets are in rotation, so make sure you check them out daily. Now before we get into the best loadout build pairings for this exotic, why not hit the subscribe button if you're new here. I cover tons of builds and guides aimed at making the endgame of Destiny 2 accessible for everyone so that you too can get that loot. Liking this video really does help me out and is always appreciated. Why not join our community Discord server as well? The links are down in the description. If you jumped into Trials this past weekend, you'll have noticed one thing: the Stag. Well, not just one to be honest, but a whole bunch of them, and I think that Precious Scars does have the perfect hard counter to it for Titans right now, especially for those players maybe dipping their toes into this playlist for the first time. Now there's one reason the Stag is coming to prominence, and it's the buff to the bottom tree Stormcaller's Arc Soul Rift ability. Generally, free players running Arc Souls will cause anybody issues, but you can take the fight to them with Precious Scars as long as you play it smart. Risk Runner is the perfect hard counter to these Stag Rifts and is a perfect combo with Precious Scars. Not only do you get a huge damage reduction when taking any arc damage, but you deal increased damage with this SMG, which also chains to nearby enemies, and then as long as you're running an arc subclass, any final blows will create that burst of healing too. It really is extremely strong in my opinion and has allowed me to take on groups of enemies without worrying too much. In PvE, it'll do precisely what you want it to do, and you can even self-proc the Arc Superconductor perk by lobbing a pulse grenade at your feet for the same effect. Now that's the basic setup I've been using, and to be honest I didn't really spec too much more into it, but there's a few examples I want to cover off for each subclass for you to consider using. These will work in all areas of the game, but please use this as a guideline for setting up your own favourite builds with Precious Scars. Vex Mythoclast is something you've probably heard a lot about recently, and having had to main it for the whole of last season before it was buffed, I'm well versed in how it works, and well now, it's awesome with Precious Scars too. With the Catalyst, it's a laser beam in PvP, but it's a total one-stop shop workhorse in PvE. And if you add in the healing capabilities of Kintsugi and the sunspots from Bottom Tree Sunbreaker Titans, it's a formidable loadout. You've also got the particle deconstruction mod from the artifact to really bump up its damage in PvE content. If you haven't got Vex though, Sunshot is a great exotic alternative here with easy mass ad clear, and if you can master its bounce in PvP, it's a great hand cannon choice as well. Sheara's Wrath will also be on a lot of Guardians' lips this season too, and this Void SMG is top tier. Available from any Trials engram you obtain, and it can also be focused at Saint 14 too. I'd pair it with the close range top tree defender Void Titan if you want to go that way. It's not really a build option I'll be using to be honest, but it's there if you want it. Stasis though, that's a whole other story now thanks to the introduction of actual Stasis elemental weapons. You've got the Fractal Fist shotgun, Vulpecula hand cannon, and now the Reed Regret linear fusion rifle from Trials, which can and will trigger Precious Scars perk at all ranges, but it's a few of the Stasis aspects and fragments it really starts to work with. You've got the Whisper of Chains for added damage resistance when nearby stasis crystals or frozen enemies, and then the Whisper of Rime which will provide an overshield when collecting stasis shards. These will stack with the overshield from Precious Scars, but it won't extend its duration as it's very much a one and done perk activating on one single revive. But if you grab that res in the cover of a Glacier Grenade wall, then shatter said wall, you've got stasis shards granting additional overshield benefit. Now if you're going to run this in PvE content, I'd definitely be looking to lean into an elemental well build, utilising the elemental armaments mod to create wells on matching elemental weapon final blows. This paired with the Font of Might to boost your damage output is really going to help increase the effectiveness of getting through enemies and healing each time too. There's actually tons of cool mods you could use, especially the Void Elemental Well mod Well of Tenacity, that'll grant damage resistance when collecting a Void Elemental Well, which you can effectively set up on any subclass using the Reaping Wellmaker mod. You can also consider using any Osmosis weapon, and especially the now S tier Traveller's Chosen thanks to its exotic car list. It'll work wonders with Precious Scars and you'll get your abilities back quickly as well as tearing through enemies. There's just a ton of possibilities and potential with this exotic now in endgame content in Destiny 2, far too many to cover in just one video to be honest, a video which has already got well out of hand as I ventured down the build rabbit hole. Ultimately though, is Precious Scars a must have, a must use exotic? Probably not, but if like me, you don't Titan very often, the very least you can do is make it look good. If you approach it from the viewpoint of trying to stack damage resistance along with its healing capabilities whilst adding in some damage boosts, you really won't go far wrong when using it. Let me know if you've been using this at all since it was released or if you might now consider it. I'll be using it in Grandmaster Nightfalls later this season and in Trials for the foreseeable future as well. Remember to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it and share it too. Join the Discord community server for more conversations and also come say hello over on Twitter. I've been Truds, that's it for this one, thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you next time.